play around with this Blue Event exclusive, I reckon it's about time I review him for the channel. Having been a big fan of this release since its reveal, does it live up to my expectations? Will it meet yours? Want a second opinion as to whether it's worth hitting up on the aftermarket for? Well, I'm your Huckleberry.
Away.
What do you think?
What's that? Faster!
So a couple of things before the video starts. If you are subscribed, don't forget to hit the little bell icon so that you're up to date with any future uploads. If you haven't checked out my last video, you can do so by hitting up the info tab popping up on the top right of your screen right now. Also, is video games more your thing? Then head on over to the relaunch of my gaming channel, ScorpioCesar's Arcade, by once again clicking on the info tab on the top right of your screen. Alright, without further ado, let's get into this. Now, when this guy was first announced a couple months ago, I was already overwhelmed trying to hunt down that poster exclusive version that unfortunately eluded me upon release. And with the burning version already pre-ordered on Big Bad Toy Store, I figured I'd give up my hunt for the poster exclusive and do my absolute best to go after this one because, well, I love me some translucent figures. I really love me some translucent Godzillas as well, and despite my overall indifference for the legendary Godzilla design, I gotta say this one hits me in all the right places. Starting with his tiny head, he looks good, but already I have a problem with how the eyes are painted in. Granted, his eyes are pretty tiny and recessed in there, but I think a frostier white would have been a better choice in my eyes. Moving down the rest of the body, the lack of paint is apparent, as most of the mold consists of this sexy blue translucent plastic that I absolutely love. It's so good to look at, though I feel a little paint could have brought out some more of those sculpted details. The paint used for his claws on his hands and feet look fine and is not as thick as I originally thought, so upon further inspection I think they look pretty okay. But it's the dorsal plates that really stand out on this figure the most, and given the lack of paint elsewhere on his body, I think Tamashii made the right choice doing these up with a frosty white, light blue paint that isn't too heavy-handed. They use just the right amount of it, and it helps give this Godzilla's back enough depth, much like they did with the Comic-Con Explosion 1994 Godzilla. That's also a big favorite of mine. Overall, I will say this. If you can get some type of small LED light underneath him and display him on a shelf or even in a D12 cabinet, this will capture the eye of a lot of people. Looks great. Now, when it comes to articulation, this is the fourth time we've gotten this figure. First time for me in particular though, but he moves around as well as a fully translucent plastic figure could. Usually, you maybe get a bit stiffer joints here and there. For me, it's mostly noticeable around the neck area, and with that jaw that won't fully close properly, but I always felt that the 2019 Godzilla looked best with his mouth open. Hi! A bad example. Some areas where there are gaps in the sculpt may piss off a few people, but you can work around them using certain angles and whatnot. I don't find the gaps to be a big issue here since the plastic used, it really does show off the inner workings of the figure anyways, so it's whatever to me. Gap haters though, well, you should maybe shop at Old Navy or something. Now when it comes to accessories, first of all, I missed this when I originally unboxed this dude. This artwork included here is beautifully done. It's also the artwork used on the box art, and hey! It's a nice little add-on. Aside from that, we also have an atomic beam effect that reminds me a lot of the 2014 Spitfire beam because it's probably the same mold with little changes here and there. It looks fine. Whether or not it's different from the previous releases of this guy, I wouldn't know personally because I don't have them. If it is, please educate me in the comments section below. Oh, and he also comes with an extra bottom jaw that he can use to hold this beam as opposed to using the standard Tamashii Stage X stand. And if you still have one of those lying around, you can always use it because there is the peg hole there. But for those of you who want to recreate that iconic scene in the movie where he's shooting his beam up into the sky, you can totally do that here, but I worry that it may eventually weaken that ball joint over time. Alright, size comparisons time. First of all, I want to compare him with the San Diego Comic-Con exclusive Explosion version Godzilla 1994 SH MonsterArts. Wow, that's a mouthful. As well as the Mattel Ghostbusters Undertaker. I don't know why I wanted to throw that in there. I just wanted to open him and finally show him off. But yeah, both translucent and they look great. Here we have him with NECA's Reject, as well as the SH Figuarts Ultraman Ginga. Here we have him with the Playmates Kong and Skullcrawler. Here we have him with some Playmates classics, Primal Rage, Chaos, and Blizzard. Wow. These are from 1996. Overall, I gotta say, I'm pretty happy with this release. Now, was he worth the headache of trying to pre-order on Premium Bandai's clunky ass website the night of? Well, ask some of my fellow YouTubers what they think and you'll get my answer. Me personally, I think he was worth it in the long run. I always wondered when the hell Tamashii would get their act together and put the effort into making another Comic-Con Explosion Godzilla, and well, here they did it. And I really like him. Would I pay over $100 for him though? It depends. It depends on whether or not you may have any of the previous releases of this sculpt. If you're burnt out with it, then you probably don't need it. But since I didn't, I figured I might as well make my first the event exclusive one. Those of you who have any of the previous releases though may want to save your money, but the King of the Monsters diehards, this is a must-have. And with that, I wish you the best of luck in getting him. Once again, thank you all for tuning into this review. Don't forget to leave as many comments as you want, hit that like button if you found it enjoyable and entertaining, and share the video to help this channel grow. Collect everything, connect everything. The end card is here with other related action figure videos, or head on over to ScorpioCesar's arcade if video games is more your thing. I'd love to see you there as well. Alright everybody, I'll see you all soon.